and go over it again like so. You can filter or blur it, but this time about 5 to see how it comes out. Now, I don't do this very often, so sometimes I don't even use it. Multiply it. Have it on the multiplier. Ooh, let's start. So you put it down by 40, and doesn't look half bad, but maybe a little lower. To about, let's do it on 25 opacity. And you got a slightly enhanced look. As such, it's not bad looking. Now make sure you save as you go and save it as a PSD. Saving as a PSD is very important so that if you ever made a mistake, like you take a break for the night and your computer decides it wants to restart, at least you have it already saved, and that way you can go back and edit anything that might not look as good as it did the night before. So that's how you do the nose pretty much, and usually sometimes you can do both sides, which is usually what you do, but I'm just going to do this half of the face, the left side, or the right side of the face, show you. Most likely I would try the other side of the nose to see how it comes out, but sometimes it doesn't look very well, so you don't do it. So we're only doing this side of the face for now. And I will post this picture when I am done with it completely to show you how it would look if I used it or not. But now we're going to try to do underneath the lips. Actually, let's do above the eye first. I always, after doing the nose, do the eye. It doesn't really matter what order you do, if you do the nose first and the chin. Most of the time I do the nose first, but sometimes I just wing it and just go with it. So you make a new layer, and her hair is in the way, which usually it's better if your hair isn't in the way. But I'm not exactly going to try to get rid of it, because I'm going to need that later. Now, usually I go that far, but I'm not going to, because of the way the view is of the person. And if you haven't noticed, I'm a big side view editor. Most of my screenies that I edit have the side face view. Now you're going to filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Let's try by 15. Okay. As you can see, it went over the hair and stuff, but like I said, in the end, you always come back and erase all of it. Now, depending on how dark you like the upper lid, you do it that way accordingly. And that's how it came out. Not exactly my best work if you haven't noticed, but like I said, it's an overview. Make sure you save, like always. Maybe it should be a little lighter so that you can... There we go, a little lighter looks better. Now underneath the lips, new layer like always. And if you notice, I'm using all the same color, because you don't always have to change your colors. I used to change the different shades that I use and everything, but I found it easier that when you lower or strengthen your opacities and the certain layer settings you have it on, you can create the same effect without having to switch all your colors. Now, you want to filter, well no, that's where the chin shine is going to be, so you wouldn't cover that up, would you? Gaussian blur it. Again, I know you're probably tired of hearing that, but you wanted the tutorial. Okay, I'm trying by 10. Now, the one thing I do want to mention is when doing the chin, when it's right underneath the lips, well, the darkness of the lips, if it does go over the lips greatly, a great amount, and you don't redraw lips, if you don't know how to redraw lips, I would suggest erasing it So because it gives a weird effect, because you have the really dark bottom lip and then top lip. And you don't want to have that until you edit your lips. That way, when you go to edit, you don't have it extremely dark because you had to go over it. So, if you know how to redraw lips, you should be fine because you're going to color over it anyways. But if you're not, then, you might want to think about it. Now, that's awful dark. So, like I said, lower your opacity. I did it by 40 just to start out. And there you go. Doesn't look bad. Looks nice. Save. Now we're going to do. It's kind of hard for me to decide if I want to try to do the highlights yet of her skin, like to show that there's light hitting this way of her face. And it's kind of hard to think of that when it already looks right here on this section like the light is already hitting her face. So you never know, but I'll try the chin anyways. Make sure you save. I don't know if I saved it. Always good to double check. Now you're gonna go, and this is also a good reason why to have the other image up, the original, because you can select the lightest part of her skin through this image. We're gonna go and try that layer. That brush should be fine. Make a new layer, and this will be. I didn't made all my layers a shading layer too, which isn't gonna help me any. So make sure if you're the type to label your layers that you don't forget, because then you're gonna have, like I probably do, 8 layers of shading layer 2, which wouldn't help me any if I go to re-edit it. Naming your layers also helps you. Instead of if you have 25 layers and you can't figure out which layer your eyeshadow is on, so you have to go through all of them. If you have it labeled already, you'll already know, so you don't have to spend your time going through 25 different layers. We're gonna do this as Chin Shine. I know that sounds funny, but that's what I'm doing. Push OK. You zoom up and zoom, zoom, zoom. Always zooming, huh? You make a little. Well, actually, my bad. But after you get that color, you always lighten it more than the original that you had. That way, if you did do the cheeks where you got it from, it would be lighter than that already made color. Now, not much lighter like you did the shadowing. You don't darken it by much, which I'm not sure if I did. I don't remember if I taught you that at the beginning. I have a very short attention span, sorry. You Gaussian blur that. Let's try by 15. Push OK. Then you see how it went over it, but like I said, don't worry, you can always go back and erase it. Make your adjustments. And you put it on overlayer, which this time isn't a good idea. So, you can always mess around through the layers, see what comes up that looks semi-normal. The hard light didn't look bad. Because you want it to be a natural glow. You don't want to look like she caked on a bunch of makeup or something to that nature. Let's just put it back on normal. Normal, I don't understand really how that's gonna look, right? I mean, it looks fine, but when you're doing objects picture, it has to look great. You know what I'm saying? Most likely, this may not be exactly the way she'll look when I'm done with her, but like I said, it's an overview of how you would do it, and I'm gonna stick with that. So I just Gaussian blurred it and kept it on normal and put it to 70 opacity. And it looks fine from now, but you can tell it's not really glowy, like sun-kissed skin, if you would say it that way. So that's pretty much the face. Well, this side of the face. My next tutorial will most likely be on lips